r/AskReddit, hotel staff of Reddit. Have you ever had sex with a client? How did it end up happening? Yes, I did. 3 times in 6 years. I would work 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a few years. That's the shift to have if you're going to want 4 encounters. The first time, there were 2 women in their late 20s or early 30s who were traveling with a group in the Department of Defense. They were my smoke break buddies. I don't smoke, but they offered and they were pretty, so that night I smoked. We chit-chatted and casually flirted throughout the night, and they invited me back to their room since they were gonna pop open a bottle of wine. The flirting got much more intense. One night there were 3 college-age girls who were coming to town for a funeral for a friend who was pushed in front of a train. It was a local tragedy that made some national press. Turns out, I was friends with the victim's cousin, so the 3 of them invited me to have a few beers in her memory. The one girl and I were vibing really well, and her 2 friends noticed and gave us some space. One went for a walk and the other decided to take a long shower with her Bluetooth speaker playing loud enough to cover up outside noise. There was a wedding after party. The bridegroom and their friends were cool, but I remember both of their families were kinda trashy, but in a fun way. Like mother of the bride doing the longest keg stand of my life in the lobby with Natty Light or something kinda trashy. But like I said, the couple and their friends were cool. The bride wasn't drinking. She was pregnant and didn't want baby Jameson, awesome name BTW, to have any namesake. The entire after party there are some people trying to give me drinks. In particular were 2 bridesmaids. The one, Heather, was especially flirty, and when I clocked out she invited me to join them going to the bar across the parking lot. I get there, do a few shots to catch up, and in an hour or so we head back to Heather's room, going in the side door so my co-workers don't see. Edit. I'm going to add details. Just wanted to put the comment down before OP forgot. Not my proudest moment, but once went out with a guest, and after a night out we were both wasted and she dragged me inside the hotel instead of going to my place. I was wasted and we ended up inside the toilet and the night shift had to kick us out. Have no idea how I kept the job. Yeah, at the time I was banquet captain, responsible for setting up meeting rooms and helping folks make their events successful. This meeting planner, probably 45, smoking hot, tight and classy, but just revealing enough business attire. I'm 26-27 at the time. Holy shit. 30 years ago. She all, can you come back to my room? I need help with my bags. Of course, mom. I am following her down the hall, past the front desk where watching me is the front desk manager. Her and I had been carrying on about a year. Sometimes I look back and think what an arsehole was I, but I'm enjoying following this lady. Her jacket, pretty tightly cinched, doesn't cover her ass, accentuating the curve out to her skirt, just long enough to be classy, just short enough for a hint of sluttishness. We get to her room and she says she has something for the meeting in her bag on the bed, so I open it and it's all lingerie and toys. She wants to know what she should wear later, so I pick out a couple pieces. She takes them to the bathroom as moments later is before me dressed in them. Damn. That was a 3-day conference. I was working late quite a bit that weekend. The front desk girl caught on and I was in trouble with her. My wife did not, though my behavior did catch up to an eventual divorce. I'm glad all that behind me, as much fun as it was. My second wife and I celebrate 16 years this month and I'd rather be with her than have crazy escapades. I worked in hotels for a few years and did twice. The first time actually turned into a whole thing where we dated for a few months. He was a popular 90s actor. He would only talk to me if he needed something, and eventually he asked for my number and away we went. The second time was with an NBA legend. That was real fun too. He was hosting a party at the hotel and kept eyeing me. Finally made a move, and we did the deed. At the hotel staff, but I lived at one for work. There was this girl who worked at the extended stay in STL and she only had one arm. Just had a stump that ended just before the elbow. She was born with it. She'd see me every day and we went from the casual greetings to having conversations. One day I'm downstairs on a Friday chit-chatting with her for a good 30 minutes. Apparently I'm not catching on to the hints she's giving me, so she flat out says, yeah, sometimes when it's slow I'll take naughty pictures of myself in the lobby bathroom. She then shows me said pictures. It was a beautiful thing. I'd text her and be like, you should come up. If it was slow, she'd come up to my room and we'd smash. This happened every time she worked and it lasted a good couple of months. She ended up getting fired due to low quality of work. Nothing ever came of it. Yes, I'm in an open relationship and the reason it's open is because of a guest at the hotel. I was a doorman and then a bellman at a 4-diamond property in my city. We had regular travelers who would come in every week for work. This particular traveler would drive because she was within 4 hours of the hotel and the company wouldn't pay for it. I got to know her because she'd check in every Monday. When I became a bellman I became responsible for getting her luggage to her room. She had a memory foam pillow she'd travel with, so I started asking why she had it. She said she gets stiff knocks really easily. I explained that I used to as well until I got a foam roller and lacrosse balls. She asked how I used them and I explained that I'd be able to give her some YouTube videos and that I could show her. I joked with my so that I thought she was flirting with me and my so said if the chance comes up that I should go for it. A few weeks later she checked in and as I grabbed her luggage cart I noticed it had a foam roller on it. I made note of it and she started asking me questions about it. I demonstrated a bit and she got on it. If you've ever laid on one you know that your thoracic spine can easily bend backwards. Hers did, which made her breasts push out quite a bit. I was trying not to stare while I showed her what to do. She thanked me, tipped me, and I was on my way. An hour or two later I was shooting the shit with the doorman and she walked out and said she's heading to this dive bar across the street and added you should come by after work. I immediately texted my so and explained what happened and she said go for it. So I went and we had a few awkward drinks. Even more awkward because it was a watering hole where the staff went after work, so I was with co-workers. After a while she said she's going to go back to her room and said I should meet her there. I said okay and that I'd be up shortly since I had to sneak in. After 11 PM we were on a skeleton crew but security wasn't lacking. So I made my way in through the back elevators and went up to her room where we hooked up. It was amazing. Not me, but I was staying at a hotel and the receptionist was being really flirty with a customer who just so happened to have the room next to me. Later I was going to the vending machine and I saw her, the receptionist, knock on his door, and when I came back from the vending machine there was a do not disturb thing on the door and I just grinned and went in my room. The next day when we were leaving I saw both of them and told them good job and thanks for not keeping us up like I thought they would. Both of them damn near died when I said that because at the time I was a kid just starting puberty. Not me, but my fellow friend and colleague, Porter Bellboy did. He was on the shift after me and this guest arrived as I was leaving. I immediately noticed she was a bit of a chaotic guest but wealthy and ordered everyone about, which was quite normal at this very fancy hotel often having famous guests. My friend didn't tell me what happened, but the next evening when I was on the late shift I was speaking to the night porter who asked if I want to see something. I said yeah and he showed me footage of my friend walking down the corridor with this guest and then entering her room hand in hand, and a fast forward showed him leaving the room the next morning. The night porter laughed and I kind of laughed a bit too, and then he told me he had already reported my friend to HR. My friend was fired after admitting to having sex with the guest and the guest left. She was very friendly with me and genuinely a little bit mental, flicking her hair at my face as if it would turn me on. A week later, front desk received a letter addressed to me and inside was a hefty tip in my name. I work as a waiter in a restaurant that belongs to the hotel. One night a table of 4 American girls, I'm Irish, around the same age as me showed up, were really nice and kinda flirty. I thought nothing of it really, as flirting is a part of my job to a certain extent. They asked me good places to go out in the city I live, so I gave them an extensive list and we chatted for like 15 minutes about the town and what goes on. They left soon after and I thought they were gone for good, but my best friend works breakfast shift and met them for breakfast the next morning. They mentioned me from the restaurant and how they are going out tonight in the city. My friend has bigger balls than me and asked them to go drinking with us to show them the Irish way of drinking. We had a great night. I ended up having sex with one, and my friend got one too. Went on a road trip the next day around the area, saw some castles and shit, and she stayed at my house the second night before she went back stateside. Was a memorable couple of days for sure. I am an flight attendant, and during the winter season we have regular stops at Tenerife. And this first officer on my base, who is really good looking and he knows it, the stereotypical pilot, handsome, tall, muscular, wear aviator glasses. He hooked up with the female receptionist and actually started dating her. I say dating because he is dating a lot of girls. Now he had a lay whenever he is in Tenerife, so he is happy. Speaking of the same douche, I remember once we had a deadhead home from Las Palmas and he hooked with one of the flight attendants during the flight. They didn't do the mile high but kissed in the back galley etc. When we landed he had this ridiculous grin on his face bragging about it and shared how he got her number and was gonna hook up with her on our next Las Palmas layover. Well, things got real awkward for him when we went outside of the airport and his, now ex-girlfriend was waiting with their 4-year-old son to welcome him home. Such a dick. No, but I have been propositioned a couple times. I worked front desk at a hotel in my hometown during the summer after my first and second year of university, so about 19-20 years old. One older guy came in really late after drinking at the bar right beside our hotel. He was from a crew that came there quite frequently and we had talked on lots of occasions. He was super drunk and would not take no for an answer. He thought I would abandon the front desk, worked alone, and come up to his room. I am not a confrontational person, but I actually had to legit yell at this dude how unprofessional that is and that I definitely would not be coming up to his room ever. He did come down and apologize in the morning. He was pretty ashamed. Another time, 2 younger dudes came in from another crew, both babes. I check them in and they go to their room. I get a call from that room about an hour later. They claim that their shower does not have a curtain on it. During the day shift we have 2 people on, since it is busier at this time. So I let my colleague know that I am going to bring a shower curtain up. I get up there and they open the door. They are both topless and urging me to chug beers with them. As I enter the room I notice the shower curtain, balled up, semi-hidden behind the bed. They proceeded to try to get me to party with them in the room as I put the new curtain up in the bathroom. Had to let them know that there are cameras everywhere and that I could not join the party. During the time I worked there another front desk lady was rumored to be sleeping with multiple customers staying at the hotel. She was the mother of a guy I graduated with. She was caught one night while working and lost her job, so I was not going to repeat that mistake. Another front desk lady I worked with was having an affair on her husband with a crew guy. Turns out he was having an affair as well on his pregnant wife. 2 other kids as well. They have been together since and have a kid together, so I guess it turned out. I have so many crazy stories from working at that hotel. There was hardly a dull night. Thank you so much for watching until the end. It would mean a lot to me if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.